This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/Craven's Comics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave. Welcome back to the program, Sandy Sidhu.
Hey guys, thanks so much. Thanks for the reach out. It was nice to hear from you guys.
Well, we loved talking to you the last time. We wanted to have you back on the program.
Yeah, I remember it was a lot of fun chatting with you guys last time. I'm not gonna lie, that really did stick out. I remember feeling just this camaraderie.
That's right. We hung. We became fast.
We hung. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh man, but
I
of course
hope you guys are hanging in okay.
we are. We're hanging in there.
Good.
We're hanging in there.
Some days okay, some days great, some days not so much. It's like everybody.
As long as
I feel that.
Yeah, as long as
I feel
Mr. Green.
that hard.
Yeah, as long as Mr. Green has the child over his shoulder, he'll be fine.
That's right.
So there you go. He's skim back there. It's all happy.
Yeah, I thought it was Yoda, but it's not Yoda. It's
Grogu.
I saw every episode. It's
Grogu.
Grogu. Yeah, I always forget.
Yeah, that's okay.
I
I have to know. It's my second one, like that size. I got another one the same size, and I just got for my birthday recently the Mando figure that comes with another little Grogu. I got tons of stuff. I got so much Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm so sad that it was the whole reason I got Disney Plus, and I obviously still have Disney Plus, but it's just like I'm so sad I can't tune into a new episode of The Mandalorian yet.
I know, right?
True.
Like,
yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing when you have binge-worthy shows, right? Like you miss it when it's over. You're kind of like, oh. That's why something like with you on Nurses, right? Like it kind of is harkening back to the week to week, kind of commitment viewing thing. It's a little bit different in the world today compared to what we normally get like on a Netflix or a Disney Plus.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Well, totally. So So with this season, for people that need a quick recap before the season finale, Nazarene decided, hey, I want some independence. I'm not going to use my family's money. I'm going to get out there. Then she meets Doug the clown, who turns out to be Doug the douche. And then she and Keon have an interesting moment, and now they're making a wish.
Yes. So for people who are catching up, Naz and Keon, both nurses, leads on the show. They've had this complicated, dance with each other that seems to have just slowly evolved through this season. And now it's kind of, what you said was so perfect of a wish. Okay, what does that mean? Where is that going? And that's really the question for the finale in regards to those two characters is what is going to happen between them? Are they going to actually commit to the scariness of potentially ruining a friendship, or are they just gonna see what's best? It's kind of one of those things of falling in love with your best friend. Do you take the leap? Do you not? Is it the right choice? Is it just that the chemistry is there because you're best friends? What's the truth? And so that's kind of what's gonna be. It will be revealed in the finale. Your description there is giving me anxiety. I'm thinking back on those days where you're like, should I, shouldn't I? Like that's it's such a common thing to happen, especially between best friends. It's you don't want to lose that. And that's one thing I really loved about the Naz and Keon storyline is it's so relatable. I think if we haven't gone through it ourselves, we have a friend who's gone through it through a mutual circle. We've at least known or engaged with someone. I don't know. Did you marry? Are you guys married? Have you married your best friend?
Well, me and Andrew were talking about getting married, but then we realized working together was just that's enough. Right?
And he refuses to shave his beard. And I just don't want the beard coming back on me,
So what will happen with Naz and Keon? Will he shave his beard? Will he shave his beard? Will they keep it to work? What's gonna happen? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's pretty good. But no, totally in my life, it is a extremely relatable story. Like when I I look at it. Yeah. And Mr. Green's laughing because he knows that's true. But
I know too many things in life.
Yes.
I have to say the finale is fantastic. It was directed by John Fawcett. And he comes from Orphan Black, and you're not going to be disappointed with our finale. It's honestly one of the cast absolute favorites of the entire show. So I'm excited for people to give it a watch. I'm really
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's really good. Now I know you're a classically trained actor, and yeah, in this show, of course, Naz also has an acting background. But then there was the scene where she had to pitch hit for Doug the Clown and do a little clowning. And I wondered, even though it was a very short scene, did you yourself ever study the art of clown?
I did not. I have to say that was probably the most terrifying scene I had to film the entire season. Everyone kept saying to me, oh my gosh, it's a Patch Adams for you. I'm like, do not compare me to Robin Williams in one of the most iconic films of all time. I was terrified to the lead up. I was terrified through filming, but it's so sweet. It's such a genuine storyline. And working with little kids, you know, you literally have to make that other little actor laugh. And she made me work for it, let me tell you. I was just like, okay, Robin Williams, yeah, no, this is not. I just go watch Patch Adams. Yeah.
Well, we got an email in from Adam A, who writes, "Hello, geeks. Does Sandy's education in biology and genetics help her in her role on Nurses? What a coincidence. Thanks."
Wow. That's really cool. Yeah, it absolutely has. I've been asked this question before, and listen, I'm notoriously have very bad long-term memory. I don't know. I've been like that my whole life. My best friends will be like, oh, I remember that camping trip. And I'll be like, man, I wish I was there. They're like, you were there. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, my dad had the memory of an elephant. He could watch a documentary from 20 years ago. He actually did this to me. He said, you know, there's something called icebreakers. It's about 6 feet long and yay width. And I'm like, how do you know that? And he's like, I saw it in a documentary 20 years ago. And I pulled up my phone and his stats were right. So I don't know what happened with the memory train with my dad and me. So I don't remember my degree. But what I am really good at is learning how to learn what's going on. So that's what my degree taught me. It's pretty full on, the degree I got from our Western University here in Canada. It's a very research-based institution. So you just got to dive in, and it was intense. So when I see material as an actress, yeah, it's easy. If I don't know something, I know how to figure it out. And it's not hard for me to visualize the context of what's being said. And a lot of my friends did go on to becoming doctors that I went to undergrad with. And it was a career path that I was considering, but just I found it wasn't me. But yeah, it definitely helps. It definitely helps with any sort of professional lingo.
I was going to say, with the long-term memory problem, I'm not sure if maybe it's I think you made the wise choice going into acting over being a doctor. It'd be a little different. You know, doctor, what do you think?
It seems like it could be something.
Something.
In about 5 hours.
Are you looking at Wikipedia right now?
Yeah. Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah.
I need another doctor.
And your nurse, your nurse mom would be like, "I'm so disappointed in you."
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But you give me a script that has a short turnaround, then I can just spit it out, no problem. I'm really good at memorizing scripts. I actually drive my friends who are actors insane because I'll help them with material, and after a couple passes, I'll just put the script down and start talking to them, and they're like, "Have you already got that memorized?" I'm like, "Yes, but I won't remember it in an hour." That's my brain. Yeah.
So if you were a doctor, you would just have to keep tons and tons of scripts around about the thing, and then you just have to go reference them and memorize them before you go see a patient. That's basically.
I mean, I think if I were a doctor, I'd need like a human-sized Rolodex with everything cataloged and highlighted and color coded so that I need like I wish my brain was like a compartment that I could just pull information out of. If I could just manifest that into some physical context, it's probably how I'd approach medicine. That's exactly why I'm not a doctor.
Hey, like at least you found a calling that really speaks to you and that you really love. That's some people don't go through that, like some people go and they get that doctor's degree and then they're just full of just animosity and hate towards people because they're just sad in their lives. So you're super happy with what you're doing. So that's the best part.
That is the best part.
Yeah, I've been an artist my whole life. I've been drawing since I was 3. I've been painting. I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was younger.
Oh, really?
I think we talked about that last time. Yeah. I actually made my own comic book named Blazer. I was a huge Sailor Moon fanatic. I mean, I was, played Final Fantasy growing up. I was a huge geek, and so for me, art was my world, but it was always my hobby. And I grew up in a small town off the coast of Vancouver on an island. I'm an island child. Like I'm literally an ocean kid. So the idea of Hollywood and acting, it never even entered. The idea of making art a career was just like something I didn't even consider. And so that's actually how I got into the path of science, because I'm like, okay, I need to do something with my life. And then I'm glad I did, because my undergrad was kind of that moment for me where thankfully I did have that aha moment of that's not what I want to do. And I really do. One thing I pray and I hope for everyone is that they get to lead a life where they wake up every day and they're, they have a sense of purpose and meaning. I think that's what I wish for everyone. And sometimes people don't have the ability. It is a privilege to go after your dreams. A lot of people don't have that resource, the support, the circumstances where they're born. So I feel very, very lucky that I'm in a time and place in a society right now where I get to pursue these dreams and make them happen.
Well, because looking at because I was just going to say, like looking at the cast of nurses, right? Like there's such a wide variety of backgrounds and people on the show that, that people watching it get to see, somebody who may look like them and kind of aspire towards that, whereas to your point, like, 20, 30 years ago, that wasn't as big a thing, and, as it is today. Right. Which is great that you guys are doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. It was very emotional for me. Growing up, I did not have a single example of someone who looked like me, except for Princess Jasmine, who was a cartoon, and she's Middle Eastern. And so for me, I actually battled within this industry, and I actually still think I do battle, even being on a lead on a show and having now the resume that I've acquired through just, the experience that I've been through. I still struggle with that imposter syndrome because of, it's really because as a kid, no one looked like me on TV. And so I didn't think my story mattered. I didn't think I had value. I didn't think that, my face and the way that I looked was important in terms of what audiences should be viewing. And so I know that I held myself back a lot in my early career just because I thought, who am I to like even consider doing something like this? There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of fear and a lot of doubt that I go through. And I'm pretty open about that because, if someone happens to be listening to this segment that's, got that same sort of feeling towards whatever profession they're pursuing and they feel, undeserving or unworthy, I just really hope that they learn that the key is self-love and believing in yourself. And it's amazing the things that as soon as I started to love myself and believe in myself, just the movement that started happening in my career, it was pretty amazing to kind of witness that. And hopefully it continues, but yeah, it's crazy. I keep yammering on right now, but I was watching this segment of this documentary on Netflix called This Changes Everything. It's about women in Hollywood that have come together, top executives in Hollywood. And I think one was the former head of, I think, a huge studio like Disney, or it was a massive studio. It was a woman of color. And she also spoke about not having a single example of herself growing up on TV. And she said it was really damaging. And it was so cathartic for me to hear this powerful figurehead speaking about the same insecurities and feeling of unworthiness that I have also experienced, because it makes you feel less alone. So I think that the more that we share that truth about ourselves, the more we can kind of empower people outside of ourselves to step into who they truly are and say, no, you are worthy, you are enough. If you have a dream, if you have a passion, that's enough, because who you become in the path of that process of the actions that you will make is what life is about. It's not about the outcome. It's not about, being a famous actor. It's about, for me, just who I become in that process is invaluable. And it's my life. And there's such a joy that I get to experience. That's what I hope for everyone else.
Yeah. Well, that's very well put. That's it's like, do you have a rebuttal? No, I do not, Your Honor. That was right on, right there.
I just went on a crazy tangent. I could hear myself going on a tangent.
No, it was really good. It was like, we're gonna submit this to TED Talks and see.
Sometimes I'm like, is this even making sense? Because something's just come out of my brain and
made perfect sense. Sense.
If you listen to the rest of the show where we talk, trust me, you are way ahead.
You made the most sense. The most sense.
Thanks, guys. You're always so supportive.
Like earlier on, like if you had heard the segment that happened just before, you'd be like, no. I'm fine. Oh my gosh. But of course, with the second season, you guys started shooting it, and then COVID hit. Yeah. And then basically, what was it? 3 months you guys were off? And then you were like one of the first.
It's a blur now. I can't remember how much time was off, but I know that when we resumed filming, we were one of the first productions to get started in North America. To our knowledge at that time, we were the first, I think, for the first week or two. So it was intense. It was a stressful experience coming back, because for myself, I remember feeling so much responsibility towards not getting our crew sick or our guest stars. And because as the actors, we're the only ones on set that are unmasked. So literally for season 2, I'm not joking, all I did for the entire duration of filming was set, home, grocery store, set, home, grocery store, repeat. I made all my meals at home through filming. Oh my God. It was not complaining, but it was like I was, no one could come visit me. I was just like in this hole. But it was just the stress of, if I go out once, I was overly paranoid. I'm like, if I go out once and something happens and I go on set and I get my makeup artist sick, or, my crew, I just couldn't live with myself.
Well, I would think that would be fresh in your mind as well, on top of it all, because your mother is a frontline worker. And so she was out there doing her thing during that time. So, so I get that. No, totally. And
it's the most relatable that any regular person would get to a celebrity at this point, because we all went through that. Everybody did the same, like 3 places, or in some cases only 2, just home, grocery store, home, grocery store,
Yeah. And how lucky are we, So there's countries that they don't even have that ability to socially distance, or the ability to quarantine and stay at home. So it was a crazy time. And you're right. It was so relatable. I feel like in our lifetime, the first time in our lives where we were all doing the exact same thing and feeling the exact same way. And it just,
That's cool.
The level of stress, like you can already see like, even as we're still kind of dealing with everything, you see like it ebbs and flows, and with everybody.
I just hope there's more mental health resources moving forward for people.
Yeah, no, totally.
We all do, because it's so many people. You hear it online. People like, oh, I can't, going stir crazy, and I'm, like me, I lucked out. I love the indoors. I don't like the outdoors. So the pandemic didn't really I was the perfect.
And as was established,
you're like, excellent.
As was established earlier, you and your wife, instead of interacting with more people, just bought small Grogu's and things to populate
Yes.
your home. Yes.
We decided to uplift the entire economy by doing a lot of online shopping. 100%. That's
We all did. We all did.
There's a Grogu at everyone's house now. There you go.
I feel like give it a year and like on eBay or like Craigslist, there's just gonna be so much gym equipment and bicycles just going on. Everyone's at-home gym equipment. I live in Vancouver. You couldn't find a bicycle to save your life. Yeah, it's just weird things each city did, through COVID.
No, totally. Yeah, no, it's crazy like that. I also think part of me is thinking there's going to be a lot of stale bread also for sale on.
Oh yeah, the sourdough makers.
I
I did that. I was one of those people that made sourdough bread. It lasted like 2 months, and I just kept killing my child, the little thing that you have to grow.
Oh, the mother, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much. When I heard about that, I was like, that's too complicated.
It's hard. My bread came out like it wasn't soft, and God, yeah. It's not easy. You know, you watch all these video tutorials and it's just like super easy. It's respect to home cooks that make your own sourdough bread. Not easy.
There you go. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's like it's like our parents and stuff. Like my grandmother used to make bread, and she tried teaching me one time when I was little, because I was like, I want to learn how to make this. I was like about 16 or 17. I was like, I want to learn how to make bread, and she's like, okay, come and show me. And she's like, okay, now you put it.
Made her day.
Oh, she was loving it, but then she's just like, I'm like, what do you do? And she goes, oh, just throw in some salt. And I'm like, well, how much salt? And she just goes, just throw it in until you know how much. You'll just know how much is the right amount. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying to me.
What? Your grandma sounds like my mother teaching me how to cook.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I taught myself how to cook through COVID as well. I became a home cook, and
That's great.
Say my mom's a sensational cook. And I'd be like, Ma, like, how do I make this? And she goes, you just add spices, and then you just add enough vegetables to, and you just cook it to when you like it. I'm like, this means nothing.
It's like, could you be a bit more vague? That would really help me out here.
Let's just start off with something like that's what I said to my grandmother. I was like, is it a teaspoon? And she's like, and then she just comes over and just throws salt, like just like that. And I'm just like, what just happened? And
your
that's
grandma and my mother would get along great. They learn a lot from each other.
This is it. Like I'm like, can you just tell me like it's a teaspoon so that I can put that in this time, and then next time I can just throw the salt in and just hope for the best? She's like, no, you just got to feel it out. And then she'd be kneading the bread, and she's like, and I'm like, well, how do you know how long to knead for? She's just know. And then she just keeps.
That's what my mom says too. You just know. And now that I cook, I'm like, now that I've actually spent a year cooking, I think back to what my mom said. I'm like, no. That's not how you go about saying it. Yeah. You say you add a tablespoon of oil or butter, you cook it on medium temperature for a bit, then you add the onions, you cook that in for about 5 more minutes until it goes translucent. I mean, I have no interest in teaching how to cook. So,
but I would say right now, you guys should have been writing down. That's the first part of the recipe. So you guys got that down, listeners at home. And also, I was thinking about it. What if they actually did teach nurses? What if they taught nurses that way? It's like, and then you stick the needle in. Well, where am I supposed to say? You'll
find it. You'll know.
Look for the blue thing. Stick in. You're good. There we go.
If it doesn't work, the blood will splatter, and then you just do it again until it stops. Yeah.
Next time you're talking to your mom and she's telling you how to cook like that, that's what you say to her. It's like, well, when you were drawing blood, did you just kind of guess? And
I could never say that to my mom. She'd be like, excuse me. Indian mother, okay.
Fair, that's fair.
Very cool. Well, Sandy, I gotta say, it has once again been a delight talking with you. Yeah. And we will have to do it. We will have to do it again sometime. And
sure.
We look forward now. Is there going to be a Nurses season 3? I guess that hasn't been announced yet. If there is,
don't know for now. 2 seasons, and so grateful to all the fans and people who have tuned in to support our show thus far. It's meant a great deal to me, and there's so much content on like in the world right now. So for, you know, people to tune in and choose our show and watch, you guys included, it means the world. Oh, I'm dog sitting right now.
There you go. Special guest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Special guest. Hello.
Oh man! Well, again, I hope a lot of people tune in for the season finale, and of course, this season is going to be airing in the States later, right, on NBC.
I do not know.
You do not know. Okay. Well, hopefully it does. Yeah. Hopefully it does, and our American listeners can get a chance to catch up on the second season as well. And we look forward to whatever else you got coming down the pipe. So it's been great talking with you, Sandy.
Yeah, likewise. Every time I hang out with you guys, it just feels like I'm blabbing and we're chatting, and
that's what this is.
That's it.
Originally we're going to call it blabbing and chatting, but they were like, "Nah, come up with a different name." So just go with Geek Hard.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'll try. Every time I come in, I'll try to just be a bit more like, you know, succinct and.
No. I want you to be less succinct every time. I want you to just ramble. We're going to have fun. All right. Have yourself a great night, Sandy.
Thanks so much, guys. Stay safe.
You too.
Well.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys later. Bye.